How about this, though? How come an international pandemic hasn't been able to bring any sort of unity? It's like we've hit a point where the hatred for the other side is so severe that even something that historically should be unifying, where you go, look, differences aside, we need to figure out what's best to do here. And
for me,
that didn't work this time.
Yeah, for me, there are three factors that seem to constantly be influencing decisions that were being made about the pandemic, and then fueling the conversation, fueling the disagreements, fueling the arguments and the emotions. In no particular order, they were health, politics, and finances. And they weren't always in that order. It wasn't. Now, in a pure ideal world, it would always be, this is what's best for the health of people. But we can't ignore, especially the finances. There are financial implications to decisions that politicians are making. And so it's not so simple. Like I said, in a perfect world, you can isolate. But unfortunately, things connect and things go here and there. And that's where you begin to have the disagreement, because you have this person over here that says, but that's not really the best strategy for the health of people. Yeah, but we've got to have the financial health as well. And on it goes. And then you have the politician who says, if I do that, I can kiss my next term goodbye. And we can talk about that like that's just disgraceful. But, that's not, it's unfair to simply say that, they should not have those thoughts. The question is, how do you put all of those together? The pandemic, it was something new. There were a lot of opinions out there that people believed in strongly. There still are. We really haven't made near as much progress as we would hope to have made 1 year later in terms of a consensus on what to do about this, because it had been over 100 years. Just over 100 years since there'd been a pandemic, going back to the Spanish flu. But technology is so much different now. Instant communication is so much different now. Disinformation, fake news, all of these things come into play that didn't exist 100 years ago to the degree that they exist now. I'm sure there was fake news, and I'm sure there was things that went on, but they traveled at the speed of newspaper. They did not travel at the speed of light, literally around the globe.
So with this pandemic, like I said, something that should be unifying, where even among disagreement about it, there should be this underlying feeling of we still need to do what's best for everyone. And it seems like that's not even there.
You're having the cross-pollination of issues and conversations. And that's, again, what I say, you can't isolate very well. To get to the pandemic, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of fear. And that leads to a different type of conversation. I don't think, from a public assurance point of view, that politics did us any favors when it came to the pandemic.
I agree with that.
It was not a reassuring time. The people that we were kind of looking to guide us through this were not exactly inspiring confidence.
Well,
because of the tone of conversation, because of the rhetoric, because the politics. It felt like politics. It didn't feel like a pandemic.
Well, and I think that's probably part of it, is that it shouldn't have felt like politics.
Right.
I mean, the most the politicians should have come out and said was, we're getting our best doctors on this. I'm going to turn it over to them. I mean, that should have been about
really,
where that went.
That should be the first step anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of like to go to a blast from the past, when the Obama administration rolled out the new healthcare program and lit up the website for people to sign up on. It crashed in like a few minutes or less. I don't know. And one of the things that was stated then by the administration in the coming days was, we're going to put our best and brightest on this. And my first thought was, that should have been who was on it to start with.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes we miss the opportunity to really solve problems because we are not really approaching it from that perspective, because there are these other factors. There are these other things feeding into this that, whether we like it or not, they're there.